Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the this and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on www.letgoradio.com and on Facebook Live. They say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it.
What's up, party people on Facebook Live and on www.letgoradio.net? It is ID to the J with the roll away, and we are live once again Wednesday at 2 p.m. The sun is shining, my words are rhyming, and it's time to get with it. So today, I have been waiting for this one because we had to reschedule the first one. And I told y'all, I put it in the flyer, when this lady comes up right here, this one is going to be the one that you don't want to miss. Episode 59 was supposed to be episode 54. But sometimes things don't work out the way we plan, and God has another time for us to be together, and that is this time today. I would like to welcome this young lady to the show, Miss Browniesha Blackman, because she is so awesome. Miss Browniesha, thank you for being here today, and thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm not quite sure how old you are because you're talking about some young lady. So I might be a little up in age. But I'm young. I ain't that up in age, but I'm young. Look, I'll take it. I'll take it today.
My mother always told me to treat a lady with respect. And that's what I do. So that's the road I go on, because I'm staying in my chair today. I ain't falling out.
Okay. I know it. I got you. It's good. Listen to your mother. Mothers give out good instructions. They give out wisdom. So listen to your mama.
That is very true. So I want to just talk a little bit about you before I ask you my first question. I had a chance to hear Miss Browniesha speak. I think it was 2 years ago now, at the conference that Miss Winnie did, and I just was blown away by her story and the power in her testimony about life in general, just how things go, how things are. I don't want to get into too much because I want to let her tell about herself, but this is going to be phenomenal, and y'all are in for a ride today, so buckle up because it's going to be a good one. So, Miss Browniesha, for those of us who do not know you and those of us who do not know who you are, would you tell us just a little bit about yourself, what you would like to share, and just, I'm just looking forward to just letting you have the floor and speak.
Well, hello, everyone. For those that know me and do not know me, as you can see on the screen, my name is Browniesha Blackman. And I wear many hats. It's a lot of stuff that this one person here does. I am a mother. I do have 2 children. I'm the mother of a super kid, my son, Ricky, who I know we'll talk a little bit about today. He has CP, and I call him the super kid. So I honestly, I take it as an honor being a mother as a whole, but most definitely being a mother to Ricky has taught me so much. So outside of being a mother, I'm a transformation coach. I'm an evangelist. I have my own radio show. I recently, as of April, became a best-selling author of 2 books. It's a lot of stuff that I do. I'm a mentor. I do many of things. I'm an entrepreneur. I do a lot of stuff, y'all. So when people begin to ask me, I'll be like, well, where I'm going to start? Because it's a blessing that God has chosen me to be able to run and be and wear all those hats and have all those titles. Because it gets rough sometimes, but God is a keeper and He has been keeping me. So that's a little bit about who I am so far. And as we go on in the show, you'll learn more about me.
Thank you for sharing that. That is powerful. And you've already segued me right into the next question I've got. You talked about wearing many hats and being an author and having your own radio show and being a mentor and being a mother. How does it not get overwhelming? I mean, how do you manage it? What is your key to, what would you say your key to managing wearing all those hats is at one time and not getting overwhelmed?
Well, the fact of the matter is I do get overwhelmed, though. People say I make it look easy. I don't know. It's not my intent to or not to do it. It's just after you've done things for a while, you just go with the flow. But it does get overwhelming. And to deal with things being overwhelming with being a mom, an entrepreneur, a minister, a mentor. I take self-care days. I love to put my phone on do not disturb. Those that are close to me know that they will call my phone and it will take me straight to my voicemail because I take the time away from myself. I go on solo vacations where I get time to get rest away from my responsibilities, whatever that is, and really take time to come one with myself, a time of breathing, a time of listening, because I know that with all that I carry, and I know that all that I'm called to, that if I don't take care of myself, I'm not good for no one else. So I have to step back and take care of me, make sure mentally that I'm in the right place, make sure emotionally that I'm in the right place. And again, with being a mother to Ricky, I'm physically making sure I give my body the rest because some seasons and in his life, it can become difficult. And I always got to be prepared for that. With him being in a wheelchair, I'm the one physically lifting him in the tub or putting him in his wheelchair or in the car. And so I have to make sure that I take care of me so that I can be fit to take care of him.
And that right there, the self-care is so important. We talked a little bit about that. Actually, you talked a little bit about that the last time you spoke at the conference. And I think people forget that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Right.
And because if you break down and you have no one else to help, or you're a single mom, or you're a single dad, or a single parent, if you break down, what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to take care of the person that you need to take care of.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. It was something that I had to learn along the journey. I'm I'm a critical thinker. I strategize. I come up with plan A, B, and C. And so I really had to live my life like that with not only, taking care of Ricky, but my daughter, because I was torn between the two. Well, Ricky having doctor's appointments and seeing all these physicians, and my daughter being in school, and maybe she was a part of track or she was a part of basketball, volleyball, or something. And so I was torn between, I am a single parent. So being there for her and being there for him, because it's oftentimes one of the things we talk about is, we talk about showing our children what special ability, being there for them, caring for them and their needs. But we forget that even our kids with their regular abilities, they will be overlooked because we're so stern on the one that, the care of him is presented, or he or she is presented, that if we do have physically able children, we miss what they're going through because we're caught up in that. And so that was something that I was able to see. And I tried my best to balance myself between the two, where Mila didn't so much so get more attention than Ricky, and Ricky didn't so much get more attention than Mila. So I tried my best to bring balance. Okay, Ricky probably ended up getting more at the end of the day, but I always made sure that I included my daughter in whatever that was, so she could feel a part of it as well.
So, talking about your daughter, being, with your son, how is their relationship? Like, are they close as well? I mean, just to be able to bridge the gap, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Very close, very close. They double team me, they double team me. So they're the Johnsons, and so the Johnsons, I'm a Blackman, so they double team me. It be them against me sometime. And I love it. I absolutely love their relationship. I love how Ricky tends to his sister. I most definitely love how Mila is in tune to care for her brother. I am so thankful to God to be a part of the whole dynamic of my children. It's oftentimes we look in, we the parents, so the kids learn stuff from us. But I've learned so much from my kids. Like, I've learned so much, and so they sometimes my daughter will go get in the bed with Ricky and like Ricky scoot over, or sometimes and when it's time for him to go in our room, he harasses her. He going in there because her friends in there, so he trying to look at one of her friends because he like one of her friends, or he just being there bothering, he be in her business, or who you on the phone with. I bet you were on the phone with your such and such friend again. So they bug each other, and so I be laughing at them because it's just funny to me.
I mean that brother and sister love, man. I'll tell you, when my brother and I were growing up, it was a six year age difference, and I wanted to find out everything he was doing and find out everywhere he was going because I thought I had to be like had to be like that, had to figure that out, and then he would come bug me just to show me just a little bit how it felt, this, that, and the other. But I could just imagine Ricky going in there. I love. I mean the part of this that is so amazing is to see the equality of it. There's no separation, and when I say it's so valuable. There's a lot of single moms out there, and there's a lot of single parents out there, and there's a lot of parents that have kids with different abilities and disabilities that they do have to care for. But the way that you treat them, and if I say this, I hope it makes sense, as normal as their normal can be, because to me there's no such thing as normal. You kind of have to figure that out as you go. And
Right.
as the comments come in here, guys, thank you so much for tuning in the show. Hey JP, hey Josh, hey Cindy, hey I think it's Liza is joining us as well. So I commend you because you make it equal. And a lot of parents forget that just because your child or children are disabled, they have lives and feelings and thoughts and emotions and
His Wi-Fi want to mess up this morning. DJ, tell your Wi-Fi to get it together. It's just, yeah, he having Wi-Fi issues this morning. It's gonna get it to. It's gonna come together. Is technology wonderful? Sometimes it can be wonderful, but not right now. Oh gosh, it really got him frozen. Okay, y'all, he'll be back. He's gonna be back.
I,
See,
I was ready for it this time. I had them both pulled up. I was ready for it this time. I said, come on, baby. Devil ain't going to get me today. Not today, y'all. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Sorry about that.
if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
That's what? That's why I said we're going to go right with it. But honestly, the equality of that makes me feel so happy that you do it and you do it regularly. That's the part that I want people to see. That's the part that I want people to get, because it's more about they shine whether you see it or not. God uses people like that. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter if you've got no arms, no legs, can't speak, can't see. It don't matter if you turn around in the circle, get dizzy, and fall down. He's still going to find a way for you to shine, because at the end of the day, you still matter. And I think when the disability gets to be the focus, you forget about how they feel. What are they thinking? It's not just you putting them out on the platform. And that's why I like how you said Ricky will go to his sister will come to Ricky. It's equal. And the equality needs to be there to be powerful.
Definitely. Definitely. And it was something actually. It's something I learned along the way. Because at first, when Ricky was much smaller, I sheltered him. I didn't want him to go outside because I thought the kids would, bully him. And he have experienced a little. He's experienced some bullying before. But I felt that that's what he needed to me. He isn't. He's not different. I treat him just the same. And some people be like, "Oh, don't talk to Ricky like that." Well, Ricky be talking to me like that, so I'm just like, he be like, "Mama, I'm not gonna." We had an episode recently, and he told me what he wasn't gonna do. I told him, I'll whoop your butt. I will whoop you. I'll whoop your butt. I'll pull you up out that butt and put that tail up. Don't play with me." But I do treat them. I most definitely. I treat them equal. I ask Ricky his opinions, what he like, what he doesn't like. He loves YouTube, and at first I was like, I'm tired of you on this YouTube, but then it came to me that that's what's comforting for him. If it's not, something that's derogatory, then why do we have to change? So,
right.
Along the way, I'm learning to be the best mom that I can be with the tools that I do have. And I'll pat myself on the back and say that I've did an amazing job with my children, but definitely not treating. I don't treat Mila no different than Ricky. Like, I treat them both the same. And 9 times out of 10, they be trying to jump me. I told y'all they be trying to jump me.
I got a comment here I want to read. JP said this. Hey JP, how are you, brother? I have 3 brothers myself. Okay, he said, let me pull it up here. I have 3 brothers myself, and they've all stood by me even with a disability. There's another one here. I see Josh says, yep, my mom is the same way. And JP continued, when I was a lot younger, I had to deal with my younger brother getting to do things first before me, even though I was the oldest. That was an adjustment for me. And I that's actually the next part. Thank you for that, because that's the next part I want to talk about is the adjustment. You just said something that kind of caught my mind. And guys, before we go on, just to let you know, they're performing tests on my internet, so I'm having to jump back and forth between my phone and my live computer. So if y'all see me, we still live on Let Go Radio, we still live on Facebook. I got y'all. Stay with me. So the adjustment, you have to find things that's comfortable for Ricky, but you've also got to discipline. And it's, he deals with so much, but it's like you said, and I love this because my mom was the same way. She said, boy, if you don't stop, we were in the store one time and I was acting a fool. She said, boy, if you don't stop, I'm going to rip off your arm and beat you with the bloody end. And this lady was standing. She was joking, right? Mom, that lady was standing there. She said, I would never talk to my son like that. My mom turned around and said, honey, I would never either, but sometimes I think about it.
Come on. Let's be truthful.
Is it hard to balance it because you feel for him with what he goes through, but you have to be the mom too and say, look, we've got to do this the right way. You understand what I'm asking you? Is it hard to balance that?
More so not now. Because the older he get, I don't look at my son with pity. I do see him struggle sometimes, and it hurts me because I'm a mom. That's my son. I mean, it would be if I saw my daughter struggling, I'm a mom, so it will hurt me. Recently, we came into where because of the CP and because of him being tight and we've been in COVID, that he hasn't been able to get his Botox injections. So it made him very contracted. And, now his feet is hurting because of the muscles and the shifting of the bones in the feet. So I was hurt recently when I heard him like weep about his feet. But then my son is a warrior. My son has came past so many things. He's had whooping cough, he's had RSV, he's had the swine flu, he's had all of those things, and he bounced back every time. Like, he at one point he was having seizures and diagnosed with epilepsy. He hasn't had a seizure since 2015. So he's been through a lot of stuff. and he bounces back like no other. And so I look at him like a trooper. So that's who I see primarily is the trooper in him. And so it doesn't become a challenge to balance the two because I know Ricky go bounce back. So I don't pity him. I don't pity him in no shape, form, or fashion. And I don't mean that, in a negative sense, but I don't pity him because I have evidence that everything and anything that Ricky has gone through, he always come back and he come back stronger than when he went in it. So when it's time to discipline him, I'm like, hey, sir, I ain't playing with you. I ain't pitying you because of the wheelchair or the gate trainer. I'm not, it's no pity. I'm going to tell you because I know you understand what I'm saying, that this is inappropriate. And so he knows because he'd come back and like, well, mama, you said I couldn't do that, huh? You right. I told you're not supposed to do that and you ain't supposed to watch that. But I'm going to tell y'all, I didn't call him a couple of times because I'll tell him in certain like raps things he can't listen to. I'll be like, Ricky, stop listening to the rap so much. Listen to some gospel music because he loved both. And so he'll try to play me sometimes. He'll think I'm not here or our garage is closed. So he think I'll be gone. And I'll be sitting there and he'll be listening to the same music I told him not to listen to. And the minute I come up them stairs, I don't know how he know, but he hit that button to go right back to the gospel. It was like, Mama, I was watching gospel all day.
Pushing them limits. They play.
No, you wasn't. You was listening to that rap and I just heard you.
Now, see, again, this is the normalcy that I'm talking about because you've got to figure it out. Parenting doesn't come with a manual. You don't start from level 1 and go, okay, how do we get to level 2? A lot of it is especially when you're a single parent, a lot of it is you got to figure it out on the fly. And I see that look. When that look hits, Ricky said, oh, okay, mama. Yes, ma'am. That's it. Mama, if mama said Dennis Craig Carter Jr., I said, that was it. Because we push as children. We push them limits to see what we can get. I learned real quick. Mama can only take 13. After 13, mama shut down. I'm in my room. I don't come out. That's it. But you do it out of love because they deserve to be treated as people, not a disability. And I think that is powerful. I mean, to hear you tell the story about things, it makes me feel all special inside because we're not different. We do things differently. See, that's where the shine is right there. And it's just I can feel you would do anything for Ricky, but all of a sudden, on the same level, he knows that level to go to try to, was there ever a point at first where you were, I don't want to say afraid because afraid is not the right word to use. A lot of parents shelter their children because they are afraid of letting them be out in the world because they're afraid they're going to get hurt. They're afraid they're going to be, taken advantage of. But if you don't get them out into the world, they don't grow. Were you ever at a point where I don't know what to do do I take him out? Do I put him in school? What do I do? Do you understand what I'm asking? Does it make sense?
Yeah, that was early on when I was coming to know that there actually was a disability because, I had him at 24 weeks. He weighed 1 pound, 5 ounces. He was in the NICU for 6 months.
I read that on
NICU for 6 months. He got out the NICU and 30 days later, he was back in the PICU for about 2 weeks. And then, I think he was out for a couple of months and then he was back in the hospital. I believe that was like for a 30-day stay. However, even though we had the back and forth of the doctor's appointments with him being younger, I wasn't able to pinpoint the disability at that point. One thing I did see, he wasn't, he never crawled. He did like this little scooting thing. So I knew, okay. And I knew, okay, I had him, early. So I thought that, Okay, I knew that was a lot of things, but I didn't know that it would be at the degree that it is now. And so as he grew, as I became aware of him having cerebral palsy, and then the wheelchair, I knew that the wheelchair more than anything would bring attention to him. So then people would actually be able to say, hey, something's wrong with that kid because he's in that wheelchair. So at that point, I want to protect him because I remember his first day of school when he was starting preschool and he had to go in that wheelchair. I'm known to be strong. People that know me know I'm strong. But I pushed him out. I was excited a part of me was excited. I was nervous. But when I had to push him on to the van for him to go, the truth is I ran back in the house. I ran in the house and I was in tears because now the world would see. Now I was sending him off with people that I don't know and had to trust that they were going to properly take care of my son. And he wasn't, because I had protected him for years. So it's like going to school. I can't see all that was going on. So that was very emotional for me to see him do that. And then I remember, even when I'm talking now, I remember one time while he was in preschool, I realized he was learning how to play the piano, or he had this little sound thing. And I remember one day he was in school and he played the piano and he started singing this song. And I cried. It was just a lot. It was overwhelming to know that, my son, he had his disability and now he was going out into the world, and I couldn't hold him back. I wanted to, but even when he was younger, he had this big attitude. So he wasn't going to let me close him off in the house anyway. He wanted to go out into the world and see what it was about. And that was very, very, very emotional for me to allow him to do that, because I wanted to protect my son. I didn't want nobody talking about him. I didn't want nobody, teasing. I didn't want him to feel bad about his condition. I didn't. And so I thought my idea at that time was to keep him in the house. But I was encouraged to let him go out personally for himself, and then even for him to get that resistance to what was out in the real world, because I kept him in a bubble for so long. Then that wouldn't be a good idea later on when he decided to, like, hey lady, I'm gonna do it on my own. You didn't held me captive.
Right. I love that. Again, right to where, and this is kind of, I did tears, but man, that's powerful right there. That's because I can just imagine like that difference of it's been here for so long, and then he's going out into the world, and that the fear and the hope and the wonder and the, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And that's amazing. I mean, that you did it and that you had the courage to do it and to allow him to do it. But I love, again, you turn it just so that it's, look, if I don't do it now, he's going to do it anyway, because he's got the attitude that he wants to do it. And that passion through Ricky, oh boy, whoo, goosebumps, man. It's just like, I feel that. Justin said this, it's great that you push him in that way. My parents worked really hard to make my life as normal as possible with the same rewards and consequences as my brothers, so that I could never use my disability as an excuse. It truly made me a better person as an adult. And that's why I asked that question right there. I've done a lot of shows, man, but to hear this is the normal that I'm talking about, because I did a show on normalcy, on what normal is. When you let go as a parent, it's different. It's different than anything, because that bubble, he's in the house. He's secure. You know what's going on. You know where he's at. Then the van came to get him, and it's like, I don't know. That thought of what happens now. But that's when you trust God and you know that he's gonna get him where he needs to go. And I just, it's an amazing thought to be able to allow him to do that. And I commend you for that. And I commend him as well for having the spirit
and the passion and the fight to push through. Because when you got a disability, you got to fight. You
Right.
got to fight. There ain't no sugarcoating it. It's rough. Some days you can't move. Some days your feet don't work. Your toes curl up. Your hands curl up. Your knees hurt. Everything. I mean, it just, man. Wow.
And I mean, along the way, even with all that, and as powerful as the testimony is, it's always needing encouragement in those around you. It has been times with being a parent to Ricky, as anyone would know, it's a challenge, and I've been challenged. I've been challenged many a times. I mean, people that may personally have against me will challenge me with the fact of that I have a special need kid. And I know that probably be harsh and sad for people to hear, but I've had people really have odds against me, and they like, well, your son is like this or this, and that. And I only tell this story because of what's getting ready to come behind it. But I wasn't really challenged by what the person said to me. I was challenged by my situation. My son, raising my son and wanting the best for him, as any parent will want for their children. And I can honestly say, with the journey of Ricky, is what brought me to have a relationship with Christ at the degree and level in which I do. I mean, I remember one day I was really challenged by something, and I decided to take Ricky to church. And me and Ricky went to church, and I remember us coming into the church really. We kind of came into the service late. And then the pastor that was preaching at the time, I looked at him, and he was preaching, but he was walking with a limp. And so I didn't understand. I was like, well, what's going on? Like, he was walking with a limp. So I continuously listened to the gentleman preach his message. And at the end, they got up as he sat down. They began to talk about him, and they said his name. And so they was like, well, Pastor Ricky. And so I laughed. I was like, what did they just say? And so after the service, I walked up to the man and I wanted to talk to him, and come to find out, because when he was preaching, he was talking about how he had this disability. He was talking about how the doctors told his mom that he wasn't going to live, that he was to die at an early age. But he also talked about going to church, and he talked about having a job. He worked at the grocery store. He would clean up at the grocery store. I seen him physically have a disability. And so again, after church, I went to speak to the man to find out that I'm not sure if he has cerebral palsy, but he had a palsy. And his name was Ricky. To come to find out, his name was Ricky. And this gentleman was married. His wife was there, and he had kids. And what I was able to pull from that was hope for my own son, because I don't believe in coincidences. I didn't believe that it was by accident I walked into the door and the pastor's name was Ricky. I saw him with a physical disability, and to see how God had brought him through that, and that he had a family, it gave me hope for my own son that God can do the same thing for Ricky. Ricky probably not physically able to stand and walk on his own, but I believe that if it's the will of God, that one day my son will get up and walk on his own. He can work a job. He gonna have a wife, and he gonna have children, just as a normal life as anyone else, as any of the rest of us have. That my son too will be able to live that normal life. And so that was comforting for me. But I had to go through some challenges first before I got through that. So that's one of the things in raising my son, is just having the hope and the faith, and knowing that even if it never changes, that God sent him here just the way that he was, to first change my life, and then now to change others' lives that he will come in contact with.
And the realization of that's a whole level by itself, because God doesn't do things on our timing. He does it on his timing.
Amen.
And that Sunday that you were you decided to take him.
Go on, let it out, DJ. Go on and let it out.
Oh, wow.
Listen, we never understand why things are the way they are. Not ever in a million years it wasn't on a to-do list for me that I would have a child, 1 pound, 5 ounces. Truth be told, before Ricky, I did have a baby, and she weighed 1 pound, 12 ounces, and she passed away in 5 days. I was scared that I was gonna lose Ricky too. Literally, and I just wrote it in my book. Literally, the same doctor that was to care for my daughter that passed away when I had Ricky, we got the same doctors, the same medical team, and so I lived in fear, like, okay, well, I lost my daughter, that I would lose my son. And by the grace of God, that is not something that happened. So I know without doubt that it was intent that things be the way that they are. It was not by an accident that things turned out to be that I have my son. He has these disabilities. I'm raising him on my own because it actually has made me a better person. It actually makes me look at life differently. It actually makes me have more faith in God than I've ever had in my whole entire life, because I know us, and I'm including all of you guys that have a disability, even your caregivers that are caring for someone with a disability. Sometimes we live in fear because we don't know what tomorrow holds for our children, for our loved ones. We don't know if you go wake up. We don't know if you go come out of the surgery. We just don't know. So we have to have the faith that, God is going to bring us through. And if we're here today, then we have to thank God that He brought us past whatever the diagnosis was, whatever the surgery was, whatever, who you thinking life was going to be for you because you have CP or epilepsy or whatever your diagnosis is. Like, you're here today. You are here today, and you're changing somebody's life because of how your life is. Go ahead.
Even if even if the person doesn't see it, God sees it. And that's where the awesomeness is about the timing. You going in and seeing the pastor with the limp and go, what's going on? That was the first taste.
Yes.
We're going to go through tests in our lives. We're going to be tested. The Bible says so. Life is not like this. It's always, hills and valleys. But in the same sense, the strength that, to lose a child, but then the same, almost the same. 1 pound 12, 1 pound 1 and 1 5. You said
she was 1 pound 12 ounces, and she was born at 26 weeks. So he was actually born younger than her, but he survived.
Now, I'm gonna just say this because people wonder if there's a God. People wonder. Don't wonder. Stop wondering. Start believing. You can't make this stuff up.
You definitely can. I definitely. I lived through it. It almost took me out, though. I'll tell you the truth. I won't lie to you. It almost. I just recently wrote a book about my life, and I told the truth about the journey of my life, of having Ricky, of losing my daughter. It has been a journey. It has been tough. But what I can tell people is, there's no way I did this. There is a God, and He is a keeper, because death was spoken over Ricky's life numerous of times.
Mm-hmm.
I can even tell y'all, in recent times, Ricky's nurse had COVID and Ricky didn't get COVID. His nurse was around him diagnosed with COVID, and we didn't know until he left, and 2 days later he sent a message like, hey, I'm positive of COVID. And I mean, he's the one who cared for Ricky, changed his diaper, very close to him.
Right.
Very close proximity, and Ricky didn't get it. So, I know without doubt in my mind that there is a God that is protecting all of us, and He shows up in my personal life with protecting me and my family. But God is not a respecter of person. He protects us all. He brings us all through. He brings us all out.
And you look at all of that. I mean, and as contagious as COVID is, and to be in the same proximity where it's a contact virus. Come on now. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've seen some miracles, and I've heard some testimonies, but this one, you gotta kind of step back and go, okay, let me reevaluate my thinking, because for all of this to happen, it can't be coincidental. There's some point where you have to take it and say, look, this is God. This is exactly what God does, exactly what he says he's going to do. And for you to come in and say, this strengthened my walk with God because, guys, I'm going there. I'm sorry. No, you know what? I'm not sorry. I'm going there. This strengthened my walk with God because it allowed me to see what he wanted for my son. Like you can't deny that. I mean, and his name was Ricky, and he had
definitely. So I needed it though. I needed that, DJ. I needed it because I was in a tough moment. I was struggling really bad in that moment. I wasn't even gonna go to church that day, and I was like, let me go. And I had took Ricky with me, and when I heard the man's name, I was like, wait, hold. No, it wasn't my hers. When I saw him limping, I was like, wait, hold. It when I was startled to pay attention and it grabbed the whole of me, it was like that day moving forward. It was like I had faith that no matter what my son came up against, we was gonna make it out, and we have. We've come through the valleys, the mountains, the darkness. We've come through, me seeing him seize out so bad that, one day he had a seizure and I thought that he was not going to make it out. I really didn't, the way it looked, it was he bounced back. So that's why when I see him now, I see a warrior in him to the point that, I don't see pity on Ricky. And so I don't have a problem in telling him, like, hey, sir, I ain't playing with you today. You look at the attitude together.
But the remarkable part about this, you said something in the faith. There's a difference in having faith and using it.
Right.
To go through something like that, because epilepsy ain't no joke. I mean, this, you're talking about doctors and medical staff saying, this is going to happen. And you, nope. This, I have said this so many times, and I'm glad you brought it up. Medical staff don't know everything. Medical staff can't prove everything. There's answers they don't know. When God comes down and says, this is going to happen, and when God touches you and says, this is going to happen, when God says, go to church, when God says, get up, when God says move and do what I ask you to do, if this don't inspire you to get up off your butt and do something somewhere, because you were fighting it. See, you had gone through all this stuff and you're like, I don't know what's next. God showed you in a small, little, teeny piece and then blew it out the way, and you're like, what? Like, because I'm sorry to say this, I've been kind of listening to the pastor speak, but I've been like, because I'm tired, and then all at once he'll hit something and God will go boom, and I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm awake, I'm good, and it literally shakes you to your very core. You can't explain it. It puts something inside of you. His spirit comes down and goes, wake up. You need to hear this. You need to see this. There is divine intervention, and that's God. God allowed Ricky to be in this world as an inspiration for mothers, fathers, single parents, people that are pushing and pushing and pushing and think they ain't got no more. Look at this young man. Look at what this mother is doing. 2 books on you. 2 books. Not one, 2. I'm going to read both of them at the same time. Have one over here and one over here. Don't. This.
You know what? It has been amazing that even with being his mom and having to care for him and yet battle my own stuff. That's another thing that we don't often talk about as a caregiver. I'm a mother, being a parent, taking care of someone that's differently able. You still have your own stuff that you got to go through in your own life. And yet be there to care for your son or care for your daughter or care for whoever your loved one is. And so it can be a struggle because it's a lot. It has been a lot for me. I have been overwhelmed sometimes trying to work out my own stuff because I'm over here dealing with my stuff and
Right.
still having to take care of my son or still having to take care of my daughter. And so again, I think earlier I had I did talk about the self-care. It's very, very important that we take care of ourselves. And I use this word heavily, be honest. I think I talked to Wendy one time and I talked to her privately because I told her, I said, as parents, sometimes we don't have the space to say, I'm tired or I'm frustrated or I'm this, because people will begin to look at us like, oh, you shouldn't say that. Your kid is this, your kid is that. Like, it's the wrong thing to say. And that's unfair to us because we can get overwhelmed. We can get frustrated.
Yes.
We can get tired. We're not, though we look like superheroes, we're not superheroes. We operate in the same human strength as others. And so we need that space as well, a safe space to be able to go and vent when the timing gets rough for us, because we are not exempt from being tired and frustrated.
The only thing I want to say to the superhero thing, let me put just a small spin on that. If you ain't a superhero, young lady, you wear a cape. Because I'm gonna tell you that. I know it gets rough. I'm sitting here and I got the chair too, honey. I'm telling you, rough. But to wear the hats that you wear, because I don't get emotional on this show very often. But when I do, this right here is a realness that people need to see. Talking about because it is hard. It is trying. Now, going into the last 15 minutes of this show, because this hour done flown by here, I got, and again, you segued into it perfectly, because this is kind of where I wanted to go. And it's amazing that God is leading us, because I've been crying so much I ain't been able to say much. But it really, with Ricky's communication, I know he communicates differently, because you told me about, I think, time with him, but he understands things differently, but yet he has trouble with the clock. Or so the difference is, how do you, like, when you notice something that he's struggling with, what showed you a way to turn it so that he wouldn't struggle with it as much? Or how did you adapt or change it so that it wasn't? Can you think of an example that you maybe did something where, okay, you wanted him to communicate this way, or wanted to try to get something from him but it was hard for him to express it, but you ended up getting it in a way because you turn, you understand what I'm asking? I know I probably just lost you somewhere, but I was trying.
Well, vocally, like, he's very vocal, so he could express, like, what he likes, what he doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've done, because of the physical standpoint of him and him probably wanting to do certain things, I make sure that I allow him, I provide the space where he could access what he needs to access.
Mm-hmm.
So I put things where he's able to reach them that are close to him. I try my best to do things, like anything that he has, to put him in a sense of independency, where he can easily do it on his own, and he doesn't so much so necessarily have to ask me. And along the way, he's learned how to navigate well, like, with turning on the TV. I hold him responsible. It was one of the things with his therapist. I hold him responsible for throwing his own stuff in the trash. He be drinking his little, he let a Boost Essentials. So when you drink it, you got to throw it away. So he has his trash can near his bed to provide independency. More so, but with things, when he can convey very well the things he wants. It's probably more so from a physical standpoint, if he's able to do them on his own, or does he need assistance with doing them?
For a mother that is struggling with a child with a disability, or children with a disability, or trying to figure it out, and she's in that moment of, I just don't know. And I know, I just, what would you say to the people out there who are struggling and who are reaching and who are trying to find that momentum? And I don't know if that's the right word or not, but to just trying to find that normalcy. What would you say to them?
Well, I would encourage them to keep trying. Um, I truly believe where I'm at today, I didn't get it on the first try. I've tried numerous of different things, many different strategies to help uh, get to where I am today, and it was not always easy. One of the things is, I'll say, for a parent that's caring for someone, and most definitely if you're hitting a brick wall with normalcy and trying to, I would tell you to find someone to talk to. If find you a good friend, find you a therapist, but continuously create a strategy that you may believe will work. And believe me, you'll hit your head up against the wall a couple of times, but after a while you'll find the niche that works for you by trying a many different avenue of things again, because I've tried. I've went through a lot of different strategies on how I was going to do things, and some of them work for a season, and some of them don't work anymore. And then sometimes everything doesn't always work. It's always going to be opposition somewhere. So even when you find yourself in opposition, step back, take a deep breath, take a 15-minute break, woosah, and then come back with your kid. As long as it's not something that they need immediately, then USA and come back to it, after a while. Sometimes like with Ricky, when it's time to get him up in the morning, I might have to change linen, give breakfast or whatever. And I only do so much. And then I go off for about 15 minutes, do something else, sit down, have a glass of cold water because I'm probably sweating because I'm a big girl and I'm trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. And then I come back to it and finish off wherever I started. If you can't do it all in one walk, don't put the pressure on yourself. Don't.
Last question I have for you. I definitely want you, if you don't mind, to put out the information where to get the book, where to get your books and all of that, because I know where I'm going right after this show. Great day. What would my question for you though is, looking at what you know now, and going back to the younger Browniesha, to the younger Ricky, looking at it from that standpoint, what would you say to your younger self? What would you let your younger self know?
That you got this. Just tell her she got it. Thank you. I have no regrets to how I did things then. I honestly know that if I didn't handle things the way I did, Ricky's 15, if I didn't handle stuff the way I did 15 years ago, then I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. He couldn't be the young man that he is today if we did not handle it the way we did 15 years ago. So I'll tell my younger self, I'm proud of you, girl. You got this. And thank you, because it had to happen then for this to be the moment that it is now.
Would you mind sharing information, or would you like to share the information of how we can get a hold of your books, how we can find you, contact you, because you do so many things, and with your motivation of helping people, what is the easiest way for people to get a hold of you, if you don't mind sharing that?
As you guys see my name on the screen, make note of my first and last name, because that's the best way to get in contact with me. For my website, it will be www.brownieshablackman.com. Once you go to the website, if you're interested in purchasing the book, you'll just hit the books tab, because there is more than one book. So go to my website. It will be www.brownieshablackman.com. If you want to personally email me, you can go to my email. Again, it's going to be simple. brownieshablackman@gmail.com. I made it very simple. It's my first and last name. If you want to add me on social media, it's under Browniesha Blackman. And those are the best ways to get in contact with me. And I'm excited about getting connected to you guys.
I would love to have you back again for part 2. Now, and girl, all you got to do is let me know, cause I will open up a Wednesday quick.
Open up Wednesday quick. Just let me know.
I think it is so amazing to go through this, and the realness of it. Again, a lot of people don't realize, because and some do, but a lot of people don't realize the realness in this show right here and what this show has done. The comments that have been flowing down this line that I've been putting up here. This is powerful to hear something like this, and then to see what Ricky has accomplished, because you allow him to be as independent as he can, but also knowing his limitations, because everybody has limitations, but you don't have to use them against yourself not to get what you want. And I say that, and you've said that so well, I ain't even got to say it. It's just, I'm just like, wow. I mean, this, whoo. I mean, I'm sweating. I can't even. Great day, what a show this was. Wow. Y'all need to add this lady. And go check out her stuff, please. Go read her books. Go get them. Buy 2. Give them as a Christmas gift. Help her out. Because this right here, when you got somebody that knows what she's talking about, and she said, and I quote, "I could not have done it without God." That's real. That's real. This is not a she's up here and I'm down here. This doesn't happen without God. Definitely. Thank you so much for being here today. As I always say, every Wednesday at 2 p.m., you guys can catch me on My CP Does Not Define Me, Instagram, My CP Does Not Define Me, YouTube, Cooking with DJ Carter, Worth the Wait. You can catch me on Chairmaster Games, YouTube. You can catch me on my blog. It's CarterDJ85 at Wix.com. You can catch me on Twitter. My CP Does Not Define Me at Minion Sports. Find me. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email me, CarterDJ85 at gmail.com. As I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J. We roll away, saying we will see you next Wednesday at 2 p.m. for episode 60 of My CP Does Not Define Me.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. But don't worry, you can catch us again next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on www.letgoradio.net and on Facebook and YouTube at My CP Does Not Define Me. Remember, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. And if you can't be good, be bad. But be good at it. We'll see you next week.